Talk about losing grant money. That's the next big one. You know, there are multiple grants that are out there from different sources. And I have Kim Nielsen from my staff here who has spent much more time than she ever would have wanted to going through all this and dealing with the different agencies. And there are grants out there that are scheduled that can lapse. There's a few hundred, maybe there's one grant for about $400,000. I think that's the big one.
Well, I mean, besides the H2O grant, which is $5 million, but
right. But that's not set to lapse immediately.
No, I mean, most of them, the only one that has any deadline within this year would be the Penn Vest, which they basically have to do the closing on, which would be November. But if I could just say something, based on my experiences with Representative White, working with him and for him, and also speaking with these agencies, if there were common ground to be had and we were able to find that common ground, you know, I would feel pretty good about us fighting to get those grants extended, you know, if that's what it came down to. You know, I can't guarantee anything, but I'm, you know, that's my little piece on that. So.
And the point is that there is no certainty that we will lose any grant money.
Yeah,
there's no certainty. It's just not a true statement. So don't be scared by that. And my thought is, say we lose $400,000 in grants, but we manage to save the township $5 million. I'm no mathematician, but that's a pretty good trade-off. I'll take that. So there's no guarantee that this grant money is going to up and disappear. So that's number two. And the third, and my absolute favorite, because we played the out-of-towner card, is that I'm here with my twirly mustache to steal your grant money and take it back home with me to Cecil Township.
Not possible.
That might be the single biggest lie I have ever heard in public office. And whoever put it out there ought to be ashamed of themselves. They should be ashamed of themselves. Because what that told me was that whoever's putting this garbage out there has no concept as to what they're talking about. We checked with the H2OPA people, and there is absolutely no way under the law that that money can be moved to another municipality. Don't let anybody fool you, don't let anybody scare you, and don't let anybody lie to you. This is ridiculous. Now, while we're talking about Cecil Township, let's talk about it. Where I live, had a little sewer project out there. Maybe you read about it, maybe you heard about it. Got started before I came into office, and they screwed it up royally at the outset. I mean, they really screwed it up. They screwed up the funding mechanism. There were other projects, but they screwed up the funding. So what happened? We were able to go back through using an H2OPA grant, which, by the way, the $5 million H2OPA grant that we got for Cecil is the same exact grant we got for Hanover Township. Hanover and Cecil got the same exact H2OPA grant. They got them on the same day. Okay? Same exact thing, no preferential treatment. The difference was in Cecil, we had to go back after the fact because the project was already done. And through an insanely unique set of circumstances, we were able to go back and get people their money back. We put $3,100 on average per family back into their pockets because they paid a $6,200 tapping because the project was screwed up. $6,200, I paid it. $6,200. Businesses paid more. We were able to go back and get them half of their money back and fix it on the back end. So when I'm just coming in here and telling you that I know what I'm talking about when it comes to some of these projects, I'm not kidding around. I lived through the hell that was that project in Cecil. It killed those people to have to write those checks. It put a serious cramp on the small businesses. I had senior citizens in my office crying. And I don't want that to happen here. So instead of allowing a project that has major fundamental questions that have never been answered and have only been addressed with delay tactics and indifference and rudeness towards the residents and the elected officials, instead of doing all that on the back end, it just seems to make sense to me that we would do the right thing and fix it on the front end before we drag everybody down this path. And that's what this is all about. I'm not opposed to sewers in Hanover Township. I want you guys to have a sewage project, if for no other reason, so I can stop talking about it. I mean, we realize, Dan and I talk about this all the time, and God bless him. All he wants to do is flush.
I like street lights too, but
Hey!
One thing at a time.
Don't get greedy. All the guy wants to do is flush. And it's serious, but we joke around, but there's a serious point. We realize he's got to have sewers up there to be able to continue the development of that park, to bring tax revenue in. Revenue, which you're going to need, by the way, if First Niagara Pavilion up and leaves. You're going to need that money. So we want to get this done. And anybody that tells you that we don't want to get it done, again, is lying. They're just not telling you the truth. You know, it has been very frustrating for me in dealing with this authority and this project. And, you know, in some ways, I want to apologize to the board and to the people. Because one of the things that I've failed you at as your state representative is one of the things that I feel has been a fundamental need is municipal authority reform. And I'm not going to make a big political speech about it, but I've got 5 bills out there to change the way these authorities are run. Because it is ridiculous that a group of people that are not elected by anybody, that never have to face the voters, they're talking about me running for election like it's a bad thing. I'm accountable to all of you. I screw up, you vote my butt out of office. Same with these guys. We're accountable, if nothing else. A group of people that aren't elected, they aren't directly accountable, for them to be able to drag a group of people, a community, through the mud like this is ridiculous. So they might not like it when we stand up to them, but you know what, that's our job. You know, we've given them every opportunity to come to the table and talk about things. Don't let anybody believe that we haven't. You know, and I think Dawn said it best. Delay, 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 delay. That's all we ever got. So, this is where we're at. These guys stood up for themselves. I got their backs. Plain and simple. I got all your backs. I want to keep the politics out of this. I haven't brought him in yet, and I don't intend to anymore. Like I said, if my opponent or his buddies or whoever from the township that doesn't even have sewage want to come down and talk about how to do this, they know where to find me, and we'll do it the right way, and we'll have it as an actual political event. So I would ask all the people that are spreading these lies and all of this garbage to knock it off, to grow up, and to realize this is not a game, it's not cute. If anybody wants to ask me about any of these issues or talk to me about them, I got an office right down the street in Burgestown. That lady right there is there every day, Jeannie Vega. She will track me down.
Yes, I will.
Whether I like it or not. This is hard enough to figure out with everybody, without everybody acting childish. We need some maturity, we need some leadership, and we need some people to take some responsibility and realize this isn't about winning or losing. This isn't about building your dream plan or getting somebody a job in the dream plan. This is about performing a public service, which is, what, in theory, what we're all supposed to be here to do. Plain and simple. So let's, all of those out there who have problems, let's bring them to the table and talk like grown-ups, and everybody that doesn't can go wait out in the hallway because I am tired of this. You ought to be tired of it, and the people that are perpetuating this ought to be ashamed of themselves. Thank you very much.